office of the Always Believe House. Oh, today we're going to do systems of linear inequalities, and it is going to be F-U-N, fun, fun, fun. So let's get rocking and rolling. Hopefully you can get by the Always Believe House. Oh, it's all decked up for Christmas. Just search Always Believe House on Facebook or Instagram and you will find it. Oh, okay, so a magical whiteboard appears and you are about to learn how to do systems of linear inequalities. Ho, 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 ho. Okay, so really quickly, a system of inequalities is two or more linear inequalities. So basically we're going to graph two lines. The solution to a system of inequalities is the set of points that satisfy both inequalities. So what's going to happen is you're going to graph two lines, okay? And then basically those two lines will cut the ordered pair or the coordinate plane into four sections. Your answer will be one of those four sections. And I'm going to show you how to get that answer, okay? So the answer to a system of linear inequalities is a set of points. It could be millions and millions of points, but you're just showing in a graph what points work. So let's get rocking and rolling. Okay, so on number one, this is going to be tedious because you've got to solve every equation for y. So we're going to set this up and solve every equation for y. So let's write the first equation. You have room on the right to do this. So write the first equation here. So I have x plus y equal -1. I want to get the y all by itself. And remember, if you have a negative y, when you divide, it is going to flip the inequality. So on number one, we have a positive y, so the inequality won't flip. And all I got to do is move that x over. So to move the x over, I'm going to subtract x, and I'm going to get y greater than -x minus 1. So I know that my slope is -1 over 1, which means I'm going to go down 1, right 1, and my y-intercept is -1. Did this in 8th grade. Since spring break never ended, you didn't do this enough. We got to keep practicing at it. So let's graph this line. I'm going to start at the -1, and then my slope tells me to go down 1, right 1. So I'm going to draw these set of dots, and I'm going to go all the way across the ordered pair with these. So go all the way across the ordered pair with all these dots. Now then, you're either going to make this line solid or dashed. Since there is no equal bar under the inequality, this is going to be a dashed line. So I'm going to make every single one of those little dots a dash. That gives me a dashed line right here, right? Now then, I'm going to draw arrows for this. Remember, this right here is going to tell you what to do. How do you get greater than on y? Remember, if you cannot read these inequalities, you can't do this. If it points to the left, it is less than. And less than on y means you shade down. If it points to the right, this is greater than. And greater than on y goes up. Notice we are solving for y, so to the left of the inequality is going to be what we do. X is not to the left. We're not going left or right. We're going to go up or down. So this one right here, how do I get greater than y? How do I get greater than on the y-axis? This line will be shaded up. So at the top and bottom of the line, draw two arrows going up. Now that I'm going to draw another line, and like I said, it's going to make an X, and there's going to be 4 spaces in it. So let's draw the next line. So on the next line, I'm going to do this in green. So we're going to have x minus y greater than 5. So I'm going to solve for y. Notice on this one, the y is negative, so that inequality is going to flip. So we're going to move the x across. You're going to subtract x from both sides. We're just making it y, x, and c, or b, okay? So -y greater than -x plus 5. Y equals mx plus b. I'm putting it in that order. Now then, I'm going to divide by -1. And when I do this, this inequality will flip on it. So I'm going to get y less than, 2 negatives make a positive, or 1x, and then positive 5 divided by -1 is a -5. So on this problem here, my slope is 1, and my y-intercept is -5. So I'm going to draw a dot on the y-intercept and then do what my slope tells me to do. So I'm going to draw a slope at the -5, and then I'm going to go up 1, right 1 until the dots go off of the grid. And then go backwards and do the same. Down 1, left 1. And then this also will be a dashed line. If it's dashed, it won't work. So any dot on a dashed line will not work. Now then, let's number this. We have part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4, don't we? Do y'all see the 4 pieces carved out by the 2 lines? The first line I drew is going to be shaded up, which eliminates part 3 and part 4, doesn't it? Because part 3 and part 4 are below the red line. Now then, let's look at the green line I just drew. The inequality is right here. Y less than. How do I get less than on Y? I will not go up, I will go down. So on the green line, draw 2 arrows going down. Notice if I go down, that eliminates part 2 and part 3, doesn't it? So the only part that's not eliminated is part 1 in it. So part 1 is going to be the system of ordered pairs that works, or the set of points. So any set of points in that area is going to make both of those inequalities true. Piece of cake. So the key on this, and what struggles you, if you can't read this less than or greater than, this is really hard. Okay? You have to know if it points left, it's less than, you go down. If it's greater than, you go up. And when you draw this, remember, it's going to form 4 sections. You got to figure out the part that works. Just eliminate the parts that don't. One of them won't be eliminated. Oh, let's go to number 2. Okay, so on number 2, I have these 2 equations. I'm going to write the first one over here. So -x plus 3y less than 21. This is going to be a dashed line, and the y is positive, so the inequality won't flip, will it? So let's solve it for y. I'm going to move over the x, and I'm going to get 3y. I'm going to add that x over, right? I'm going to get 3y less than x plus 21. Now then, I'm going to divide everything by 3. And notice I'm not dividing by negative here, so it's not going to flip the inequality, will it? So I'm going to get x less than 1 over 3x plus 7. So my slope is 1 over 3, and my y-intercept is 7 in it. So I'm going to graph this line by going up to the 7 and drawing a dot. And then my slope tells me from that dot, up 1, right 3. So up 1, right 3, up 1, right 3, up 1, right 3. I can get 3 more dots. I'm going to go backwards and go down and left. So down 1, left 3, down 1, left 3, down 1, left 3. I got my line, and it's going to be dashed. So you could make each of those dashes, or those dots, a dash, right? Okay, now then we're either going to shade up or down, okay? So we're going to draw 2 arrows going up or down, and this is, oh, this shouldn't be x, it should be y. So let me put a y here. Now then, read what this is right here. It says y less than. How do you get less than on y? How do you get less than on y? You go down. Greater than's up, less than's down. So draw an arrow down and down. So we're about to get an x, and one of the sections is going to be below the purple line. Let's do the next line. So write down y greater than or equal to -x plus 4. This one's already solved for y, so that's cool. So my slope is -1 over 1, which means I'm going to go down 1, right 1, and my y-intercept's 4 in it. So I'm going to start at 4. And then from that dot, I'm going to go down 1, left 1, and I'm going to go all the way down across the grid. And then I'm going to go backwards and go all the way up. And this will be a solid line on it. Okay, so I have a solid line. Now then, let's write down our sections. Write down 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4, right? The purple line is shaded down. So that eliminates part 2 and part 3. So the answer is either going to be part 1 or part 4. Let's look at the red line. Okay, so I have y greater than or equal to. How do I get greater than on y? To get greater than on y, I'm going to go up. So shade up on the red line, or draw arrows up. If I go up on the red line, that eliminates part 4, doesn't it? because part 4 is below the red line. So what's the only part that's not canceled out? It's part 1 in it. So that means that part 1 should be shaded in. So if you have a pencil, you'll just highlight it in. All of the ordered pairs in that section are going to make it true. Ho, 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 ho. So fun stuff. This is kind of tedious because you got to solve for y every time. And then remember the key, you're shading up or down. You're not going left or right because we have y to the left. Let's go to number 3. Oh. Number 3, unfortunately, we got to solve both of them for y, don't we? Okay, so let's write down x minus 4y less than or equal to 24. On this problem here, the first thing I know, I'm going to have a solid line, aren't I? And also my y is negative, so that inequality is going to flip. I'm going to shade up. That's something you should click on right off the bat. So let's solve this for x, or y. I'm going to move the x over, and I'm going to get negative 4y less than or equal to negative x plus 24. Then I'm going to divide by negative 4. And when I do that, my inequality will flip. So I'm going to get y less than or equal to 1 over 4x minus 6. So I'm going to graph my y-intercept. So my y-intercept, my slope is 1/4. My y-intercept is negative 6 in it. So the first thing I'm going to do is graph the negative 6. And then my slope tells me to go up 1, right 4. So up 1, right 4, up 1, right 4. I can only get 2 dots. I'm going to go backwards. Down 1, left 4, down 1, left 4, and then I need a solid line. Now then, look at what your inequality says. It says y less than. How do you get less than on y? You go down. So I'm going to draw an arrow down on the left and right of the line. That means all the dots below that line are going to be true. Now then, let's do the next line. On the next line, I'm going to write down 2x minus y greater than or equal to negative 1. I'm going to move this 2x over. Notice the y is negative. It's going to flip, and I'm going to have a solid line, aren't I? So I'm going to have a solid line. The greater than will flip to less than. I'm going to shade down. Okay? So I'm going to move the 2x over, and I'm going to get negative y greater than or equal to negative 2x minus 1. You want to put yx in the number, and then divide by negative 1. And I'm going to get y less than or equal to positive 2x plus 1. So my slope is 2 over 1, up 2, right 1, and my y-intercept's 1. So I'm going to start on the y-axis at 1, and then my slope tells me to go up 2, right 1, and I'm going to keep drawing those dots. Then I'm going to go backwards, down 2, left 1. You should be pretty good at drawing a line now. And then this will also be a solid line. Now then, let's number the 4 parts. This really helps out. So part 1, part 2, part 3 is a little bitty in it, and part 4. Now then, the purple line is shaded down. So what parts are eliminated? Part 1 and part 2 can't work, can it? So it's either going to be part 3 or part 4 in it. Look at your inequality. It says y less than. How do you get less than? You shade down. So the red line is going to be shaded down. What is above? What part's above the red line? Part 3, so part 3 won't work, will it? And so the part that works is going to be part 4. So this part down here is going to be all of the ordered pairs that make those inequalities true. Ho, 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 ho. F-U-N, fun, fun, fun. This is just like driving a new car. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Yeah, that'd be cool, huh? Okay, let's go to number 4. Oh, okay, on number 4, this will be a little bit simpler. We have x less than negative 4. So let's do this one first. X less than negative 4. Notice to the left, we don't have y, we have x, don't we? Also, there's no equal bar, so it's going to be dashed. So how would you draw an x equal line? It's going to be a vertical line in it, and it's going to go through negative 4. So put a dot on the x-axis at negative 4, and we need a dashed line. So I need a dashed line going through negative 4. Now then remember, x doesn't go up or down, it goes left or right. How do you get less than on x? How do you get less than on x? You go to the left. So you're going to shade this, draw 2 arrows to the left. So my answer is going to be the piece to the left of the red line. Now then, let's graph the next one. Okay, so I'm going to write down, let me do it in purple, 3x plus 2y less than or equal to negative 2. On this one, my y is positive in it. So I'm going to shade down, and it's also going to be a solid line because there's an equal bar. So let's move the 3x over. So I'm going to get 2y less than or equal to negative 3x minus 2. Then I'm going to divide by 2. So we're going to divide by 2, and we're going to get y less than or equal to a negative divided by a positive is a negative, 3 over 2. That means I'm going to go down 3, right 2, aren't I? And then negative 2 divided by positive 2 is a minus 1. So on this one, I'm going to write down my slope is negative 3 over 2. My y-intercept is negative 1. You start with the starting number, which is the y-intercept. So I'm going to start with a negative 1. And then my slope tells me down 3, right 2. Down 3, right 2. Down 3, right 2. Down 3, right 2. I'm going to go backwards. Up 3, left 2, up 3, left 2. This is where they cross. Up 3, left 2. And then I need a solid line through those purple dots. Now then, let's label our 4 parts. We have part 1. Part 1 is real big in it. It's that whole top right. Part 2 is itty bitty in it. Part 3 is down here, and part 4 is right here in it. So part 2 and part 4 aren't that big, okay? Now then, which 2 parts are eliminated? Part 1 and part 4 are eliminated because they're right of the red line, aren't they? So the answer is either going to be part 2 or part 3 in it. Now then, look at the purple line, and we're going to do this right here. How do I get less than on y? I will not shade up, I will shade down, won't I? If I shade down, what part is above the purple line? Part 2 is going to get eliminated in it. So what's the only part that's not eliminated? It's part 3 in it. So this piece right here is all of the ordered pairs at work. And remember, that piece keeps going for infinity on that grid. So it's an infinite set of dots. Any set of ordered pairs in that yellow part that I just drew makes both of those inequalities true. Okay? So that's how you graph a system of inequalities. You graph 2 lines, it's going to form an X, and you're picking out one of the 4 parts that makes both of them true. Ho, 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 ho. F-U-N, fun, fun, fun. Oh, now then let's do some word problems. Ho, ho, ho. So let's go to this one. On the word problems, we're always going to use X and Y because that's what we will eventually punch in to the TI Inspire calculator. So we will just use X and Y with this. So let's read the problem. The first 2 things we're going to talk about is going to be our X and Y. So suppose you buy flour and cornmeal in bulk to make flour tortillas and corn tortillas. Flour is X and Y is cornmeal. Flour costs, so X is our flour, cornmeal is our Y, and you want to spend less than 25 bucks on the flour and the cornmeal. Okay, so you're going to have a money equation. Let's get the money equation first. The money equation is going to have all the money. So the flour cost $1.50. So 1.5x and then plus 2.5y is going to be no more than 25 bucks, right? So less than or equal to 25. That's my money problem. The next one is just going to be an amount. So my amount problem is going to be, I need at least 6 pounds. So if I add up the X and Y, it has to be at least 6. That's going to be X plus Y greater than or equal to 6. Oh, what a blast. Now then, I'm going to show you another way to do this where we're getting the X-intercepts and the Y-intercepts. Okay, so on this problem here, we're going to get the X-intercept and the Y-intercept and connect the dots. Whew. Okay, so let's do the first one. Let's write down 1.5x plus 2.5y less than or equal to 25. Okay, so to get the intercepts, you're going to divide this number and then you're going to divide these 2 numbers. Okay? This is the easiest way to do this. This is tough, okay? This is the simplest way to do this without switching all these to y, because that will take forever, okay? So my x-intercept, write down x, it's going to be 25 divided by 1.5. So do that on a calculator. And let me get a calculator up here. 25 divided by 1.5. 25 divided by 1.5. That's 16 2/3. So my x-intercept is 16 2/3. Let's get the y-intercept. So the y-intercept, let's do this. Go over here. So my y-intercept is going to be 25 divided by 2.5. And that's going to equal to 10. So my y-intercept is going to be 25 divided by 2.5, and that's going to equal to 10. Okay? They should not have given you a problem like this because it has a fractional intercept. Okay, now then, also the graph is not big enough, okay? This is not a good problem to do. So let's just graph this line. It's going to be, the x-intercept is going to be 16 2/3, which just put a dot over here because we're not going to be able to graph it because the graph is too small. The y-intercept is 10. So put a dot right here and connect these with a dashed line or a solid line. And we want this to be below because it's going to be less than. We have a less than right here. This is not easy to do, okay? Sorry about this. It did not work out good. These x and y intercepts should be integer numbers. Now then, let's do the next one. Let's write down x plus y greater than or equal to 6. We could solve this for x. Let's just get the intercepts. These both have 1 in front of them. The x-intercept is going to be 6 divided by 1, which is 6. The y-intercept is going to be 6 divided by 1, which is 6. So if I put a dot at the 6 and the 6 and connect them, I get this, and it has to be greater than, it's going to be shaded up. So any ordered pair in this part is going to work. And we could get a gazillion of them, okay? So let's just pick 2 at random. So let's pick this one, and let's pick this one. This point would be 7, 2. You can pick any one you want. And this ordered pair would be 4, 6. Y'all can pick a whole bunch of them that are different, okay? So basically we have 2 lines and we shaded between them, didn't we? Ho, 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 ho. Any ordered pair in that shaded part will work. Now then on the next one we'll solve for y, since these may not work out good. These should all give you integer intercepts. Okay, let's go through here. Remember, the first one's x, the second one's y. So in this problem, a seafood restaurant owner orders perch and salmon, x and y. Perch is $4 and salmon is $3. He wants at least 50 pounds, and then he can't spend more than $2.40. So we need a money equation and an amount equation. The money is going to be here, here, and here in it. So it's going to be 3x plus 4y, and then more than, he cannot spend more than $2.40. So he cannot spend more than $2.40, so it has to be less than $2.40, right? So the amount of money he spends has to be less than $2.40. That's going to be a dashed line. Now then, let's write down the amount. The amount means he needs at least 50 pounds of fish, which is going to be x plus y greater than or equal to 50. Now that this one works, you can get your x and y intercepts, okay? So let's write this over here. 3x plus 4y less than 240. Okay, now then the x-intercept is going to be 240 divided by 3, which is going to be 80. The y-intercept is going to be 240 divided by 4, which is 60. So if I graph my intercepts, I can get my line, can I? Now then on this one, we're going to make every single one of them worth 10. Okay, so I need to go up to the 8. That will be 80. I'm sorry, the 8 will be on the x-axis. And then on the y-axis, I'm going to go to the 6. And it's going to be a dashed line, right? And it needs to be below this dashed line. So anything above that dashed line is going to be more than $240. And remember, every unit on that XY axis is 10. It's not 1, is it? Because the graph's not big enough. Now then, let's get the next one. X plus y equal 50. Both of the intercepts are going to be 50, right? 50 divided by 1 and 50 divided by 1. So put a dot at the 5 and the 5. And then you're going to connect those dots. And the answer can be anything between that shaded part. So anything in here, right? So let's just pick 2 ordered pairs. So the order pairs I'm going to pick, let me put them in purple. I'm going to pick this order pair and this order pair. So that order pair would be 4 and 2 and 2 and 4. So the answer would be 20, 40 and 40, 20. Remember, you're putting zeros at the end because they're not whole number units. So 2, 4 and 4, 2 work. Put zeros at the end. Those are the order pairs that work. Now then, this is kind of tricky over here because we're getting the x-intercepts and the y-intercepts. So remember, to get your x-intercepts, you divide the 240 by the 3. To get the y-intercept, you divide the 240, let me get it blue, you divide the 240 by the 4, don't you? Okay, so that's how you get your intercepts, and you can graph those, okay? Just graph the intercepts and connect the lines. And also, we're only dealing with the first quadrant. Really, they should have only drawn the first quadrant, because if we go up into the second quadrant or the fourth quadrant, we're dealing with negative amounts, aren't we? So the first quadrant is where these should be graphed. They should have gave you graphs with just the first quadrant. Now then, let's go to number 3. Ho, 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 ho. Okay, we're going to do 2 more. I know this is a long lesson. 2 more. Okay, so number 3. We sell CD websites to printer, depends, purchase aids, and Lowe's paper to advertise our sites. Their operating budget will let them spend at most $3,000 on the advertising adventure. An ad will cost $30 to appear in the weekday paper and $50 to appear in the weekend. So weekday is X and weekend is Y. Okay, so I need a money problem and a total problem. So my money problem is going to have this number, and this number. So 30X plus 50Y, and at most 3,000. That means I can spend 3,000, but not over. It's going to be less than or equal to 3,000. And I need another 0. They plan to run at least 20 ads. So X plus Y has to be greater than or equal to 20. Ho, 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 ho. Now then, this is going to be huge here because our intercepts are going to, oh, we still do it though, okay? Now then, let's write this down. 30X plus 50Y less than or equal to 3,000. And we're going to get our intercepts again. So let's write down X. To get my x-intercept, I'm going to divide that by that. So 3,000 divided by 30, that's going to be 100 in it. So this will cross the y-axis at 100. We're going to do every one by 10s again. Then let's get our y-intercept. Our y-intercept is going to be 3,000 divided by 50. So write down y, put 3,000 divided by 50, and you would get 60. Or actually 600. And we can't graph the 600. That's going to be off the graph. This is not a good problem to graph. We're going to have to do something different. So let's delete that one. And we'll talk about how to get this in a minute. And then we're going to do at least 20 ads, right? Okay, so how can we do this here? Let's do... every one would be... This is not going to be fun to graph. Okay, let's just do the 100 and the 600. Okay, so really quickly... This is going to cross at 100 and 600. So put a dot here and then put a dot up here. And then just connect them. And then put 600 right here. They should not have given you a graph that won't graph the problem. Just saying. Then on the next one. The X and Y intercept are both going to be 20, right? Every one is 10. So 2 and 2 draw a dash or draw a solid line. So my answer choices could be anywhere between here. And it's a ton of them, isn't it? Now then, we just need 2 ordered pairs, so I'm just going to pick, I'm going to zoom in. Let's do this one and this one. That is going to be 6, 1, which is going to be 60, 10. And then this one right here would be 4, 3, which would be 40, 30. Oh, this is a really long lesson. I'm sorry about this. I'm just doing what I'm told, okay? So, we're going to do one more, skip 2 pages, and we're going to do number 3, because number 3 is tough. This will leave you a little bit less on the homework, okay? Number 3 is pretty hard. We're going to switch this 45 cents to 50 cents. That way it'll work out, okay? So a contractor has at most $42 to spend on nails. Finishing nails will be X, and common nails will be Y. So remember, we need a money equation and we need a total equation. So our money equation will have 50 cents, 60 cents, and 42. So 0.5x plus 0.6y, and then at most 42. That's going to be less than or equal to 42. That means I could go up to 42, but I can't go over. And then I need at least 30 pounds of nails in total. That's our total equation. So x plus y has to be greater than or equal to 30. Oh. Now then, let's do this. So write down 0.5x plus 0.6y less than or equal to 42. And remember, we're going to get our intercepts. So write down x equal and y equal. We're going to do 42 divided by 0.5. So let's do that on a calculator. 42 divided by 0.5, and I get 84. And I'm going to rough estimate that. We're going to do every one as 10 again. And then let's get the y-intercept. 42 divided by 0.6 equals. So let's do 42 divided by 0.6, and then my y-intercept will be 70, won't it? So on the x-axis, it's going to go to 84, which is like between the 8 and the 9. On the y-axis, it's going to go up to 70. It's going to be a solid line, and this is going to be shaded down, isn't it? Now then, let's get the next one. On this one, x plus y greater than or equal to 30. 30 divided by 1 is going to be 30 on both of them, right? So the x and y intercept are both going to be 30. Connect them. And then my ordered pairs could be anything in between them, right? So I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to pick this order pair and that order pair. This order pair would be 5, 2 and 1, 5. So 5, 2 would be 50, 20. And then 1, 5 would be 10, 50, right? That was a really long lesson. Thank you for staying in there with me. Remember, you're graphing a set of systems of ordered pairs. You're going to graph two lines. You're going to form an X. You're going to find the piece that works. On the word problems, you're going to find the ordered pairs that are between the lines. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Remember, you are amazing. You are created to do wonderful things, and you are awesome.